both need to go on the sofa. Is that all right? There we are. Right, welcome everybody. We're organised, just about. So what we're going to be sharing with you today is something similar to what happens when a child or a family might come to see an NLP4Kids practitioner for a consultation session. And that's our kind of fact-finding mission, where we begin making decisions about what we might be doing in any subsequent sessions with them thereafter. It's also really important for our client to make sure that they feel comfortable with the practitioner that they're working with. So I'm sure most of you know, particularly if you've had any therapeutic interactions yourself, that depending on your relationship with the therapist is going to have really big implications on the outcomes of that therapy. If you've got a good relationship, you tend to get better results from it. So we really like to make sure that when our practitioners are going to be working with a family, that it's people that they're going to be comfortable working with in the future. So that's part of why we do a consultation session. So there's a couple of reasons why consultations might differ depending on, well, a few different circumstances. Why do you think that a consultation that I do might appear different to a consultation that somebody else does? What do you think the factors are that might make our consultation different?
Well, you've experienced many different types of consultations. So the way, in the sense that you probably experienced a lot more consultations than some new practitioners, for example. Yeah. So the way you might deal with maybe a difficult parent, or a loud parent, or a parent who doesn't really say much, doesn't give you much, it'll be very different to like somebody who's new. Yeah. So those might be the major differences.
Okay. Any other things that you think might make one consultation different to another one?
You've got different experiences. So like some people only specialise in certain things, and certain like genders, like some prefer to be with angry boys or things like that,
or teenagers or something like that.
Everything's different. Like the age changes the consultation as well.
Yes. So that's a really good point. So we've got a sort of standard list of questions that we give our practitioners access to. But if you're working with a 7-year-old, you're maybe going to pitch those questions slightly differently to if it's a 17-year-old. Yeah. And similarly, we might notice as we go through the questions that even though we've perhaps got an older child, actually their understanding isn't quite what we would expect for that age bracket, in which case we might want to sort of bring the questions down a level to make them more understandable. And in the same way, we might have a younger child who's like super bright and can actually cope with the questions being a bit more technical. And so then we can add in, a little bit more adult language in there that they can still wrap their heads around, and terminology that they would be able to understand. So yeah, I would say age is definitely a key thing. Anything else that you guys can think of that might make one consultation different to the next?
Parents can really change.
Yeah, so we might have parents who like really interact in the consultations. We might have some who kind of hang back and just add in like little nuggets if they think the child's missed out something. And then we might have some that like really quite dominate the consultation sometimes, so that can happen as well. Yeah, I would say another thing is how the consultation is performed. So the scenario that we've set up here for you today is like a live one where we're sort of in each other's presence, but a lot of our practitioners are still doing sessions on Zoom, right? Yeah. So that can make the consultation different too. Typically, if I see people in real life, more so because I'm using up old bits of paper, I'll actually have all of my consent forms and my questionnaires in paper version. I'm going to use my iPad today because I don't want to use up a set of paper documents when it's not a real life scenario. But yeah, so that might make a difference in terms of how we're then maintaining and storing the data afterwards, where it's getting locked away. Is it on a password protected device? Is it going in a locked filing cabinet? And it might also change the way the rapport works, because when you're with someone face to face, it creates a different sort of vibe to when you're working with them on Zoom. So that's going to make a difference for some of the practitioners. In terms of where you've been booking in parents to have a consultation with a practitioner, what stuff maybe have you even heard about this week where some of the practitioners do their consultation in a really different way, or maybe there isn't even really a consultation there? What other sorts of formats have you heard about?
Or some practitioners just like to have a chat with the parents first on the phone before they actually conduct the consultation, whether it's a Zoom consultation or an in-person consultation where they come to see. And that's probably just so that the practitioners can get a gist of the situation before they maybe come up with a plan of what they're trying to do, especially a plan for how the consultation might go. Maybe in the pre-chat they might find out more information that will gear them up for the consultation so they can pitch it in the correct way.
And have we got people too that do, so I typically see like the parent and the child together. Have you heard about anyone doing anything different in that way?
Not particularly, but with me, when I'm booking consultations, I try to leave it open to the parent. Whether the parent wants to have 10 minutes just with the practitioner first and then bring the child in, or vice versa, or they want both of them in, or they're just saying, look, just take my kid will open up to you. I feel like a lot of the time the parents, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they will know, okay, look, I can't leave my child in this situation on their own. Let me go in with them, even if it's just to hold their hand or whatever. But,
and so we might see something there, like you were kind of alluding to the age bracket. So if they're over 16, they might say, actually, I don't want my parent coming in with me, and that's fine. Or they might say, I'm 18, I still want my parent to come in with me, in which case that's also fine. So we do have to be a little bit flexible. And obviously we've got different practitioners sort of running slightly different formats in terms of how they might do the consultation as well. So what I'm sharing with you today is pretty much what I do. And so there's no guarantee that anyone else is going to do it in exactly the same way that I do. They may have a better format. They may have a format that just works really well for them, that they've got comfortable with. And so they've just kind of learned to use that and make it really work in terms of how their therapy practice is structured. Anything else we wanted to add in terms of what we've learned from our experiences of booking the consultations in?
Just one more thing. I feel like when you kind of book the consultation in fast and then have the actual consultation like all within a quick period of time, I feel like it's a lot better in terms of like sorting out whatever problem there is. I feel like when you dilly-dally naturally as a person, you're just going to put it off and procrastinate and keep putting it off. But if like I'm talking to a parent on a Monday, they're booked in for a consultation on a Wednesday, and then
we're kind of striking whilst the iron's hot.
Exactly.
So for us as practitioners, obviously you guys know that we're all running our own individual businesses, and so it's important for us from a business perspective that we don't kind of let people's problems fester for too long, because then it can just sort of go on the back burner. Then they end up coming back 3 months later. They thought it had gone, now it's come back with a vengeance, and so we've got now a bigger problem to deal with. So we like to try and turn things around as quickly as possible when a parent reaches out to us and asks for help, because we want to help them at the point that they are actually struggling and in pain. That's really important. But also from a business perspective, it's important that we help them take action whilst they've got the motivation there. All right, shall we crack on?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so who have I got here today? Because I don't even know what our setup is. So introduce yourselves. You're my parent, yeah? Okay, lovely. Your dad?
Yeah.
Welcome, Dad. And so you have brought along, who is this that you've got here with you today?
My daughter Jade.
This is your daughter Jade. Yeah. Welcome, Jade. All right, so do you guys know much about who I am and what I do?
Not really. I just saw an advert on Facebook and thought this might be something that will suit us.
Okay, you spoke to someone at the office, they've got you booked in. Understood. All right, so Jade, do you know why you're here today? Sort of. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll give you an overview of how I work, what information I'm going to take from you and what I do with that. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about why you think you've come to see me today. And then is it all right if we let Dad chip in and give us some extra help if we might need it along the way. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Smashing. But I'm going to be reaching out and asking the questions to you if that's all right, Jade.
All fine.
Okay, smashing. So in terms of what I do, my job is to help people. So normally they come to see me because they've got some certain worries. They might have some emotions that are getting in the way of them being able to be as happy as they would like to be. Sometimes I help people because they've got bad thoughts that are upsetting them. Sometimes it's to help them get rid of habits or fears or phobias, all sorts of different reasons really. And so my job is to teach you different things around how your mind works and also how to be more in control of your feelings. And so I'll give you some different tricks and strategies that you'll be able to use when you're at home or when you're at school, and that will just help you to feel more in control of what's going on for you. And then over time, you'll find that the worries that you've come here with today aren't playing on your mind so much and that they become something of the past. Does that kind of make sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no one size fits all. I'm going to run through some questions with you today, and that's going to help me to match up the techniques that I know, the tricks that I can teach you, and then that will give me an idea as to what we might do in any sessions that we do after today. All right. Now there's going to be a bit of paper for you to fill out before you go today, Dad.
Okay.
Don't worry about it yet, but let's just make sure we do it before we finished here today.
Okay.
And that's just to say that I'm allowed to hold on to all your information and to keep it stored. So I'm going to be writing some bits down today just so that I don't forget anything that's important that we say.
Okay.
Just so you know as well, at the end of all of our sessions, I've got an evaluation sheet. So I write down on there the stuff that we do that day, and then any ideas that I might have for our next session as well. And then when I see you next time, I check in, see how things have been going, and make sure we're still going in the right direction with everything, all right? So it's really to help me make sure that we don't just bumble along from one week to the next, but that we've actually got an idea of when these sessions are going to come to an end, so that we know that we've got an exit plan and that this isn't going to go on forever, but eventually you'll be, getting back to things and working away on your own. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. All right, is there anything that I haven't mentioned there that you wanted to ask about at all?
No, not at the minute, no.
No, anything for you, Jade? No, so just so you know, all of these bits of paper that I keep, they get locked away. I don't give your details to anybody else at all. And the only thing that really goes on the computer is my notes from our session and my calendar to remind me about when you're going to come and see me again. All right?
Yeah.
Smashing. So we're going to dive in now, if that's okay. So you are Jade. Is that Jade? Yeah. All right. And what is your surname, Jade?
Thomas.
Okay. All right. And Jade, do you know where you live? What's the first line of your address?
All I know is 80.
It's number 80, was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Dad, what's the road name?
St John Street.
St John's Street. Lovely. All right. Jade, do you know your postcode?
I don't think she knows. We just moved there.
Oh, you got a new place.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. How
And
long
then
ago did you guys move?
This about 2 months ago.
Oh, really new. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just gonna make a note that sometimes moving can be a bit upsetting. Sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot for her to
Bit
take in.
dramatic. Yeah. Okay. So 2 months ago you moved. All right. Sorry. Let me just take that postcode again. Far away.
And then one.
NN1. Yeah.
1DH.
1DH. Lovely. Right, Jade. Do you know when your birthday is?
8th of March.
Okay. Yeah. 3. Yeah. Do you know what year?
2005.
2005. And how old are you, Jade?
16.
Okie dokie. Alright. And so what year are you in at school?
Leaving secondary school.
So you're
Just left.
alright, so you've just left. So have you got plans to go to college or anything like that?
I'm not too sure yet.
Not too sure. Alright. Have you looked at college at all?
Sort of. At
Yeah.
school.
Okay. So is it maybe a chance for you to do A-levels and stay on at school?
They
or-
could do.
Okay, but we're going to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, gotcha. Alright, so A-levels or college coming up. Alright, nice. Have you moved far from where you used to live before?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if you do go to do A-levels at school, it's going to be in a brand new school for you?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright, and the date today, is it the 2nd of September?
2nd of September, yeah.
Okay, of the 9th. 2021. All right. So you obviously heard me talking a bit there, Jade, about what I do and how I help people. Does that sort of make sense now as to why it is that you've come to see me today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you tell me a little bit about that? What's made you reach out today?
I've got like anxiety
Okay.
all the time,
Okay.
so it's a bit of everything that I get anxious about, and it changes as well.
Okay. So a bit of everything, and it changes. Okay. When you say it changes, do you mean that the anxiety itself changes, like the symptoms?
Yeah, I get a lot of different types of symptoms.
Okay. So for the kind of symptoms that you're getting at the moment, like this last week or so, what have those symptoms been?
Nail biting
Okay.
and feeling sick all the time.
Okay. And that feeling sick, does that change your relationship with food at all?
Yeah, sometimes I can go all day without eating, sometimes I eat all the time. It's very different.
Okay. And is that what you're noticing at home, Dad, as well?
Yeah, but also sometimes I do think that she might be putting it on a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like she just picks and chooses her times of when she wants to be hot and cold, and
Okay.
I'm not too sure how much exactly all of it is anxiety, and some of it might just be attention.
Okay. Okay. Have you heard Dad mention this before, or?
Sometimes.
I tell her all the time, but
Okay.
she just tells me, "Get out of my room, Dad. Get out of my room," and
Okay. All
I
right.
just can't be bothered for the arguments.
Okay. So do things get a little bit heated between you two sometimes?
Yeah, and I just remove myself from the situation because I don't
Okay.
like arguing.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Can I ask who else is at home? Is it just the two of you, or?
Mum's at home, but she's not at home very much. She works a lot. I work from home, so me
Okay.
and Jade spend a lot of time, especially this summer, spend a lot of time together at home.
Yeah.
So
And I guess with COVID as well, you've been in each other's presence quite a bit.
yeah,
Okay.
basically every day.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so no other siblings at home, no brothers or sisters there. No. Got any pets?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we had a dog.
Yeah.
But the dog passed away, and I think that might have been what set her off, maybe,
Okay.
because
I'm
she's the
sorry
only
to hear
child.
that.
So
Well, when did your dog pass away?
A few months before we moved.
Okay. All right. So was it earlier this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's rough. Was he an old dog?
Yeah, it was kind of natural.
Okay.
I mean, I think she knew it was coming anyway. So
Yeah, still makes it hard though when it's like a member of your family, isn't it?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that happened. Alrighty. So you said that you sometimes get different types of symptoms for anxiety. Can you tell me about what some of those other symptoms have been?
Sometimes I get a little bit dizzy when it's very bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to just move my hands a lot
Okay.
and can't sit still.
So a bit fidgety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always touch my ear as well when
Okay.
sometimes I get nervous.
Yeah.
And just like other bits like that, like feeling sick is probably one of the main ones that I feel all the time.
Alright. And does it start right from when you wake up in the morning, or is it kind of as the day goes on it sort of kicks in?
It's all the time. So when I wake up and I go to sleep, sometimes I get nervous and anxious about going to sleep as well.
Okay. Does that interfere with your sleep? Might it make going to sleep difficult, or make you wake up more regularly?
Yeah,
Do you get anything like that?
I can't sleep because I get anxious about going to sleep.
Okay.
Being on my own.
Okay. So is it the falling asleep part that's most difficult?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And if you, in fact, let me come to that question in a minute. So when you've got all of these different sorts of symptoms, if you like, happening, how do other people around you respond? Would they know that you were going through this? Like, can you see it in her? Can you tell?
Yeah, our whole family can see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, even little things like Christmas, they're like, "Where is she?" And I just had to come up with these silly excuses. And to
Okay.
be quite honest, I've had enough of it.
So was that because you were away in your bedroom or something
Yeah,
like
I'd get anxious to go downstairs and see anything.
that? So you're trying to sort of keep
But I
yourself
don't understand
away.
because she knows all these people. She's known all these people her whole life. So how can you be nervous in front of your own family? I don't really understand.
Yeah, it's a funny one, anxiety, because it can really sort of change the way that you might interact, even with people that you're very comfortable with. It can suddenly make you feel quite uncomfortable. So it's not really anything to do with them or you, or it's difficult. I know not to feel sort of offended, but it's really not about those relationships. It's about her being able to manage how she's feeling in those moments.
Okay.
And I think at the moment you haven't quite got the skills there to be able to sort of face up to these more challenging situations with people. Okay. So you're hiding away a little bit. And how do you find, Jade, that other people respond to you when you do things like that, hiding away?
Not a lot of people understand it.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel more anxious, so it makes me feel worse.
Okay.
And then I start to feel sick, and then I've got a fear of sick,
Okay.
which makes me feel worse.
Okay, yep. Okay. Have you ever actually been sick through anxiety?
No, but
Okay.
it does make me feel very sick, and I get stomach pains as well.
You get tummy pains too. Okay. All right. What would happen if you did the opposite? So even though you might still have a bit of that kind of initial fluttery anxiety there happening, if you kind of didn't let it hold you back and you got on with life anyway, what do you think would happen?
If I had the courage to do it, I think I'd be a lot better. It's
Okay.
just getting that initial do it.
Okay. How long has this been going on for then?
Probably since lockdown.
Okay, since the lockdown started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's what made it worse. I'll say this has been going on for years.
Okay, so do you feel that there was maybe a little undercurrent of her being a bit anxious, but then lockdown
But
spiked
I
it
just
up?
thought that as you go older, you might shake it off. But
Sure. Okay.
I just feel like being in the house for the past year and a half, 2 years, whatever, has been it's made me notice it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I want to have a good relationship, but it makes it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, of course. Well, if it's any consolation, you are certainly not alone. There's been a lot of people that have had some quite adverse effects on their mental health and their well-being because of lockdown. It put us all in quite an unusual set of circumstances, that's for sure. All right, so for you, Jade, is there any particular times or scenarios when you think this affects you the most?
It probably affects me the most at night.
Okay.
And when I have to interact with people.
Okay, so kind of socially?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, sometimes when I feel sick, it kind of, everything takes over.
Yeah, okay. All right, let me just let that person in. 1 second. Oh, there we go. All right. So I know you mentioned earlier that you guys moved house quite recently. Have you moved very far from where you used to live before?
Yeah.
You have, yeah. So when you were saying just now, Jade, that the anxiety affects you on a social level, have you been able to give yourself any kind of new social relationships since you've moved?
Not really, as I'm not really back to education yet. I'm not in college yet, and I don't really see anybody.
Okay, and have you been keeping in touch with any of your old crew from where you used to live? No, okay. So have you been...
I mean, they always get in touch with her, but she just seems to always just fob them off. And,
Okay.
And so they've even called the house phone.
Okay. Oh, they're keen then, that's nice. Alright, did you have good friends where you used to live?
I did. I think it's just I get anxious about going outside the house.
Yeah.
And doing things.
If you had that courage there that you mentioned earlier and you felt more comfortable with the socialising side of things, would you want to keep the relationships with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were good enough people that you would want to keep the friendship there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you think that this anxiety is something that you can control?
I want to control it,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. I haven't tried.
Okay. All right, that's fine. And Dad might be the one to answer this question. Is there anything from Jade's past, or maybe Jade, you would even know this yourself, that you think might have contributed to this anxiety? Because you said you've sort of seen it there from quite a long time back.
I wouldn't say there's anything that's contributed to it. She's had a great upbringing.
Yeah.
She hasn't struggled, so I don't really see where this is coming from. Especially around everyone in our family, everyone's confident. Everyone always seems to have something going on, but it's like she's the how do I say? She's like she's the
She's got a different way about her.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about when Jade went to? Did you go to nursery before you went to primary school? Yeah. So those sort of really early school days. How did she get on then?
She was perfect. She had loads of friends in nursery.
Okay.
They always said that she's developing well, etc.
So when was it that you started to think, there does seem to be a bit of an undercurrent of anxiety there?
There was one time
Yeah.
I went to secondary school in the parents' evening.
Okay.
And then I just realised that a lot of the teachers were saying the same things, that in class she's quite quiet.
Yeah.
She's intelligent, but she doesn't want to answer the questions. And I'm thinking, if you're intelligent, then answer the questions. I don't want this to have an effect on her education later on. She's done all right in her GCSEs, but I feel like she could have done 10 times better. I mean, we come from a very academic family. Everyone goes to university, so my expectations are very high, but it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. When you say that, Jade, it was reported then you were quieter in secondary school. What was the size difference between your primary school and your secondary school? So the secondary school was much bigger. Yeah. Do you think that might have been a bit of a shock to the system, or
Yeah, it was.
That something you sort of noticed at the time?
It was very overwhelming.
Okay. All right. So that's not something that's uncommon. I think it can be quite a big transition, that primary to secondary school one. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you see young people that were doing flying and really confident in primary school, and then come to secondary school, it's a bit of a shock to the system. It feels like quite a different environment to be in. All right, and so in terms of your GCSEs, do you think that they got to a place where you've still got the option to do what you might want to do next?
Yeah.
Well, that's the most important thing there, so that's good. All right, so have we tried anything in order to help you get sorted? Have we been to the doctors or done any mindfulness apps, or, I don't know, hypnosis audios, incense, anything at all? Has there been any little strategies you've tried?
No, this is the first time we've kind of tried to do anything about it.
Okay. This is step one for you. Yeah.
Because I feel like I've only really recently realised that it's actually getting bad, and as obviously she's going into, this is a time of change. She's going into college, then probably university, then. I just feel like we need to get it sorted out as soon as possible. Yeah, so you want to be able to do those things and enjoy those experiences, right? Is there anything that at the moment, I know you mentioned the socialising, is there anything else that you are not doing in your life at the moment because of this anxiety?
I'm not eating all meals.
Okay.
Sometimes I skip meals, sometimes I don't drink enough.
Okay.
And I sit on my phone a lot.
I mean, like I said earlier, I do think this is out of choice, because, of course, some days she'll be skipping meals, and then other days she'll have McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I'm thinking, what do you mean? Yeah. Why can't you do this every day? Or why? She kind of picks and chooses her moments, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. And that may be, I don't want to give you a free pass here too much, Jade, but it may be that sometimes the anxiety is a little bit up and down. Some days are perhaps a little bit easier.
See, I don't understand that. That might be something you have to help me get my head around.
That's fine. We'll come to that. All right. So, is there anything that once this anxiety problem is gone, you won't be able to do any more? So is it kind of getting you off the hook of a few things, giving you a free pass, maybe, like Dad was saying there in some areas?
I do get a lot of sleep.
Okay. All right.
But that's throughout the day, not in the
Okay, so you do get a lot of sleep during the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's all she's done this summer. Sleep, sleep, sleep. So
Okay. So would it be fair to say that maybe part of overcoming this anxiety is going to be about helping you develop just a healthier routine?
yes.
You know, with the eating, with the sleeping, making sure you get enough fluids in. It's very easy to sort of let those things slide when you're not feeling great about yourself. And yet at the same time, doing those things can often really help you to overcome things like anxiety. You know, you need to have a good, consistent blood sugar level to make sure that you don't emotionally get spikes of highs and lows throughout the day. So I think that might be part of what we need to look at some stage. Okie dokie. So I'm just going to make a little note to myself there to say that we need to think about developing a good routine for you. All right, so what would happen if you changed and you started to get better?
I could probably go downstairs and have my breakfast.
Okay.
And have lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And communicate more and go out more. Even on walks and going to the shop is quite difficult, so hopefully I'd be able to go to little places like that.
So would that do something for your independence, do you think? Sort of help you to feel a bit more independent in life? Yeah? Okay. What would happen if you did not get this sorted?
I think it would just be the same.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Okay. Do you think it's got worse already over time?
I feel worse, but I'm not too sure if I perceive it as worse.
Okay. All right. Well, if it's feeling worse already, then it's probably a good time to start thinking about getting it sorted. On that note, what is going to be our evidence that tells you, that proves to you that you've started to get better? What's one of the first things that might happen that has you go, oh, that's better?
I mean, for starters, it might just be getting out of her room. That would be the first.
So that's where it would be for Dad.
Yeah.
Just seeing her being a bit more sociable.
Yeah.
Okay. What about for you, Jade? What would it be for you?
Eating.
Eating. Okay. And is that eating regularly or
just eating enough so I'm full? Because sometimes I don't do that.
Okay. So eating enough. And if you had, let's say, a good day of eating, would that be enough to convince you? Or does it need to be more than a day?
More than a day.
How many days do you think it would need to be for it to start getting impressive?
About a week.
About a week. So if we had one good week, that would be a bit of a line in the sand. Would that be the same in terms of Jade being sociable as well? If she was doing the week of coming downstairs and...
Nah, I think we need more than a week.
How long do you think that would need to be?
Couple of months maybe.
Okay, couple of months. All right. And I mean, obviously, there's going to be some points where she might want to just have some time to herself. Is that okay? If she, isn't sociable every single day for that couple of months?
I don't know. You're the practitioner. You tell me.
Well, I guess it's important to know what your expectations are and to make sure that they're realistic. She's a 16-year-old girl.
Well, then, I guess everyone can have it off there.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So, how important is it for you, Jade, that this starts to get sorted out? So, if we said 0 out of 10 is, maybe one day I should look at sorting this, and 10 out of 10 is it absolutely needs to get sorted out now, what number would you be?
About a 9.
So that's pretty high. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be good for if you get it sorted?
Me.
But
both of
you. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Anyone else?
Maybe Mum, but like I said, she's in and out of the house all the time, so she doesn't see it when I see it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So for you, Jade, if there was one thing that you think you need to learn, or something you need to change or make stronger in yourself that's going to really help you out, what do you think that thing would be?
Probably trying to get over my fear of feeling sick and being sick, because that kind of is the killer when I'm eating.
Okay.
If I feel sick, I won't eat.
Gotcha. All right. You mentioned courage a little bit earlier as well. Do you think that that's going to be important for you?
Yes, just try and get my mindset back.
Okay. All right. And in terms of generally who you are, if we got all the anxiety out of the way, what is your character and your personality usually like? So if I was going to speak to those old friends that you had from where you used to live before and say, tell me about Jade, what's their personality like? How do you think they describe you?
I'm quite quiet.
Okay.
I'm not really a loud friend.
Yeah.
But I do like to go out a lot with them.
Okay.
And I like to do things and go out and have like meals and cinema and things like that.
Okay, so it sounds like you used to really enjoy being sociable at one point.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, okay. It'd be nice to get back to that again then. Yeah.
But sometimes you're saying that, oh, you don't want to go out. So when your friends stop messaging you, then you start saying, oh, they don't invite me to go out. But when they did invite you to go out, you never used to go out.
Yeah, she wasn't ready to go.
Yeah, you didn't want to go out.
Yeah.
So what's going on? That needs to change.
It can become almost a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy where that anxiety is getting in the way, and even though you really want to be with them and go out, it just doesn't feel like you're able to do it, and then eventually they stop asking. Then it feels like people don't care.
I mean, you can't say you want to go out and then when they invite you out, you don't go.
Yeah. So it'd be good to get Jade to a place where she's got that confidence back to be able to take up those invitations.
Yes.
And start rebuilding those friendships again. That'd be nice to have that. All right. Is there any sorts of hobbies or interests that you either have now or used to have that you'd like to get back to?
I used to like horse riding a lot.
Okay.
And going out and doing that because I have a few friends there.
Okay.
That's really about it.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. What are you spending most of your time and energy doing when you're at home now? I know you said sleeping, but when you're awake, what stuff do you do?
I just sit on my phone.
You're on your phone a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I block out everybody when I'm
She doesn't even bloody open the curtains. She turns on the phone before she even opens the curtains. She's sitting there in the dark all day.
Yeah.
On the phone, just texting, watching YouTube videos. I'm thinking, oh.
So I think what Dad's saying there is maybe something we need to bring into that little routine planning that we do later on down the line, just so you make healthier decisions there about getting yourself up and out and facing up to the world and the day. Is there any particular stuff that makes you feel really good?
Before me feeling anxious all the time, I used to like getting up and cleaning my room and and going out with my friends.
Okay, all right. Would you say you used to be quite an organised person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not anymore.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that I haven't asked either of you that you think might be useful or important for me to know about?
I'm not sure, but I feel like we spend a lot of time here because I've got a meeting soon.
Okie dokie.
I've got a big routine. As you said, routine is
it's important.
That's basically what my life is.
Okay.
Routine.
All right.
So I've just taken a lot of time out.
Yeah.
I'd like to start.
No, that's fine. I'm coming to the end of the questions
Okay.
here, and I really appreciate all of the input that you've given us here. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
And before we do wrap it up, though, Jade, was there anything else that you think might be either useful for me to know or important to mention?
I just want to be able to have a good relationship with Dad and Mum.
Yeah. Okay. So is it important we put a little bit of focus into working on that area for you?
They don't really understand.
Yeah. Is it important that they do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm guessing for you, Dad, you've mentioned there about, you and Jade have had quite a long period of time together. It's not necessarily gone the way that you would have liked it.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you would like to see an improvement in the relationship between you guys as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad we've got agreement there. That's nice. Okay, we can put some effort into that. Is there anything that either of you wanted to ask me that I haven't told you?
Kind of. What do you think? How long do you think it'll take for us to get it sorted out?
So from here, typically the sessions that we do together will be an hour, and we normally do them either on a weekly or every other weekly basis.
Yeah.
The average number of sessions is about 5. I would say based on what we've talked about here today, and depending a little bit, Jade, on your the level of motivation that you put into it, you know, the effort that you put in, because I'm going to give us some little tasks and things to do in between the sessions.
Yeah.
So if you stay on track with those, we might have made some serious headway after, say, 3 sessions. And if you can keep things...
3?
Yeah.
I would have said we definitely need more than 3.
Well, we can see. I think it's better that we play it by ear, because if you put in that work and after 3 sessions you're, you know, really moving along in the right direction, at that point we can have a nice gap between that session and any subsequent ones, so that one and the next one, and we can see, you know, a bit more around how you cope independently. And if you're doing really well and keeping going by yourself, you don't need me at that stage.
Am I in the session or
so
what
no,
happens?
I won't be inviting you into the sessions. So I want Jade to have a little bit of a space to be able to speak freely, and they're her sessions. She's the one who's going to have to put in the
Well, I
work.
mean, if I'm paying all this money for sessions, then
Yeah.
I want to be there. I want to see what's going on.
And is that because you want to focus on improving that relationship between you and Jade?
Yeah, but partly because I want to see what
Yeah.
my money's going towards. I want to see the results happen.
Sure. Well, she's 16 years old, so she actually has authority here to make a decision as to whether or
Okay.
not
What would you
having
like
you in the sessions would be beneficial or not.
I would like to do them on my own.
Okay.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, then it's fine.
That's fine. I mean, we can have a chat as well about how much feedback you might want me to give to Dad at the end of the sessions. And so I can either give you some like really detailed stuff about what we've said and done, or, you know, just a rough outline of things. So we'll have a chat about that perhaps during that session number 1, and then we can make sure that you feel like you're getting what you need from those sessions as well.
Okay, brilliant.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Smashing. Anything else that you wanted to ask me about before we wrap up for today?
No.
No, I think we got it all covered. All
Yeah.
right, lovely. So what would you like to do from here? Shall we get a day and a time sorted for you to come back and get started?
Yeah. Which days are you available coming up? Do you have any free slots for the next?
Let me have a look. Are you looking at next week maybe?
Yeah, maybe next Friday.
So I'm not in on a Friday. My session days are normally a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So which of those days could work for you?
Maybe a Monday, maybe 5 o'clock after school or college, yeah.
5 on a Monday. So this Monday is the 6th, 5 o'clock. I can do that one.
Can we do 2-hour sessions so we can speed up the process?
I think let's do a 1 hour for the first session.
Okay.
Just so that I can make sure that concentration levels are there. If she does well with a 1 hour session and we feel like we've got enough to still keep going with at the end of that one, then we can look at doing a longer session for the next one.
Okay.
Normally the maximum length I would do is a 90-minute session,
Okay.
but what we'll do is review it after that first one,
Okay.
and then we can always make a more refined plan from there. Would that be all right?
I mean, it's going to have to be, so yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so I've got you in for 5 o'clock, Monday the 6th. Any questions before I let you guys go today?
No.
No? All
No,
good?
yeah.
All right, smashing. So I'm going to see you on Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to see if there's any comments, questions. Let's have a look. All right, hang on. Let me pop on over to the chat on Zoom. All right, and then we've got some comments on Facebook. Katie, who is one of our practitioners, said, "Very believable, guys. Great acting skills."
Give me my Oscar.
Yeah, we'll make you one. So if anyone's got any questions around the format of what we just did there, ping them over. So if you're on Zoom, you should have a little chat box when you scroll down to the bottom of your screen. You can send your questions in that way. If you're on Facebook, you can put it in the comments section. We will see them just there. How was that for you two? Great role play, by the way.
It's good.
Was it more detailed, less detailed about what you expected it to be, do you think?
I feel like it was detailed enough.
Yeah.
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 Like you had enough like to say like this is what we need to do, this is the plan,
Yeah.
let's get it
Yeah.
done.
I feel like there was enough questions so that you could gauge
Yeah.
And
the
you-
type of person that I
Yeah.
am, the type of person she is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you kept your call with the parent who was getting
Yes.
a bit
Yeah.
riled. But no, yeah. All detailed enough.
Yeah.
Does it give you a better idea about what it is? You know, you're talking to parents about going to a consultation with a practitioner. Does it give you a better idea as to what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen it happen. So you can just go. The
Yeah.
consultation is this, and this.
Yeah.
It will last up to an hour,
Yeah.
and then you can explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see as well how sometimes we have to be really careful not to go down too many rabbit holes, because it's easy for one question to trigger like a 10-15 minute response, and there's a lot of questions there, and then
Yeah.
before you know it, like you're kind of running up to an hour already, and you're maybe
Yeah.
only a quarter of the way
You made,
through.
I feel like you made it so that the practitioner dictates the conversation as opposed to like the parent.
Yeah.
But obviously, you do get some parents who like want to be like the alpha in the conversation or lead the
Yes.
conversation, but then
Yeah.
obviously it's not about you. It's not about how the parent feels. So.
Yeah. And the other, I guess, challenging thing that might come from a situation like that, where you maybe do have a parent who's dominating things a little bit, is that if that parent feels like they, like if you meet up with a friend and you go, oh, my family are driving me crazy at the moment, and you do a big old offload, and then afterwards you sort of go, oh, I feel a bit better now.
Yeah.
We have to be careful that we get the balance right between having them feel like, oh, good, we've started to make some progress, but not that we've solved the problem completely.
Yeah.
Because if it feels like they've, I've offloaded, I don't have anything to worry about anymore, then the motivation to actually rebook
Yeah.
the sessions may not be there, and then it's the child that ends up missing out. So we kind of, we have to get the balance right between making sure that people feel like that consultation was a satisfactory process, but not that we've solved the problem or that we've let the parent offload so much that they've lost the motivation to.
They feel that there's no problem.
Yeah, that they feel like the problem's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So what is saying? So I think it was mentioned that there was a format for the consultation. If so, how does one get that? Become a practitioner. You have to join NLP4Kids to be able to get access to our resources and materials. So that's the answer to that one. All right. And any other questions from anyone else? Louise, great consultation. It was good to see how to handle a pushy parent in a firm but fair way. Thank you very much. Yeah, you did a good job there.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I felt a bit sorry for you, Jade. Okay, good stuff. So if there isn't any more questions from anyone else, we will wrap it up there. Thank you to both of you for being my clients today.
Thank you for practicing us.
No problem. So no, that's a verb. And we'll have a think, like maybe we should do another one of these a month from now and sort of let people in on something else that we do. We'll have to put some thought into what might be another useful aspect of NLP4Kids to share that's quite often behind closed doors. But remember that, you are going to get a different experience going from one practitioner to another. We do tend to follow the same format of questions. But equally, we've all got our own different styles of how we manage things. So, it is going to be slightly different from one person to the next.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope that was a helpful little demonstration that we've done for you. Oh, and Nikki says, I have a question on the home study course and what it covers. If it's not the right forum, could I have a catch up another time? So that's Nikki. All right, if someone makes a note of her name.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, we will maybe reach out to you next week because there's quite a bit in it and I don't want to take up too much of anyone else's time today. I'm guessing we're emailing you already and you're in our database. All right, good stuff. So we'll reach out to you next week and find a good time to chat. All right,
Okay,
good
thanks.
stuff. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, thank you, everybody. We will see you all on our next conversation. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
And end. There we go. We are